back there? Good? Can't hear me. How about now? Now? Okay. Doug says I have to hit the bell again. Better? Okay. Welcome everyone to the March 26th meeting of the Rotary Club of Des Moines. I'm President-elect Josh Braby, filling in for President Tim, who is on his way to Houston with his son to watch the Huskers play basketball today. Fun twist for those that know. Thanks to Dick Stauffer for a greeting today. Appreciate that. And Susan Voss will be sharing a moment of inspiration, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance and our four-way test.
Well, you know, there were so many things to have a moment of inspiration. The Hawkeyes, the Cyclones, and Friday night is opening night at the Iowa Cubs. You won't want to miss the Star Spangled Banner singer. Who could that be? But, in honor of our guest today, I thought I would say a little something about the fine arts. President Lyndon Johnson once said, "Most precious are the arts in a nation's heritage. For it is in our works of art that we reveal to ourselves and to others the inner vision which guides us as a nation. And where there is no vision, the people perish." As young people are now more than ever inundated with images on social media and businesses are increasingly using AI, it has become even more relevant for students these days to learn how to think more critically and creatively. Because what is required of us in this coming century is an imaginative capacity that goes far beyond what we have deliberately cultivated in the schooling environment over the last 25 years, said Mariko Silver, the chief executive of the Henry Luce Foundation. And that requires truly deep arts education for everyone. Now let's stand, say the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And the four-way test?
It is true, it is fair to all concerned, will it build goodwill and better friendships, will it be beneficial to all concerned.
Greeting.
We have a number of guests today, so we're going to get into acknowledging those that have shown up today as guests. For the guests, we'll call your name, please stand, and then wait for the end to for us all to recognize you. So, We have a few visiting Rotarians today. District Governor Norland Hinkey is here. I also saw him welcoming everybody, so very nice to have you here. Past District Governor Dennis Drager is here. District Governor nominee Chris Nelson, and then Joyce Wheeler, which I think is an honorary Des Moines Rotary Club now, but the spouse of Todd Wheeler. M.K. Gillette with the Des Moines Performing Arts and daughter of Graham Gillette. Cindy Snell, spouse of Mark Snell. Not a guest, but Mary Connie Bozen here again, so welcome, glad to have you back. And two additional guests from Des Moines Performing Arts, Maddie Now and Emily Cruz, whose dad I learned was a president of a Rotary Club in the Chicago area. So, welcome. We also have two birthdays today. I don't know if they knew they had the same birthday, but Wally Geiger, his birthday. Wally here. Happy birthday, Wally. And then Rob Hedgepath, which I don't know that he's here today. Okay, where in the world is Club 27? So a lot of spring break travel for those guests and those that don't know. Rotary Club of Des Moines is club number 27 in the world of over 45,000 clubs in the world, which includes over 200 countries. So our spring breakers include Todd and Joyce Wheeler in California on the beach. Mark and Cindy Snell, they were on a cruise, and this was a stop in Spain, I believe. Jeremiah and his family is next in Washington, D.C. And the final, Mr. Will Brown, I believe. Not sure if anyone else is with Will, as he's on the top of the cliff. And he's here today, so he came back. Thankfully, didn't fall off. Will Brown in Horseshoe Bend, Arkansas. We have a very special recognition today from District Governor Norland Hinkey. So, Norland, it's your podium, sir. Choosing your path is a logistics challenge.
So first of all, it's great being back here. We appreciate it a great deal. It's always fun visiting. And you guys got the best club administrator I have seen, this young lady right here. She is just super, so give her a pay raise. Got to recognize Mr. Moraine back there. He just got back from Colorado, and his wife just told me he's heading out to Peru, so you get him for a day in between. Steve, good to see you. And Dennis, always good to see you, past district governor. I told him he's my mentor, you know, he's trying to teach me how to be a governor here, but I learned slowly, so. And there's a guy standing in back, sitting in back, but stand up, Kevin. Come on, up. We have our annual conference May 1st, May 2nd. I'll give you a spiel on it. But on Saturday afternoon, we have a panel of assistant governors, past presidents, and current club presidents. And Kevin has agreed to use his intuitive thinking and forward thinking to be part of that panel. And I got to tell you, we're excited about it, so that's great. I also got to tell you, Kevin, I'm not going to be there. Our grandson, of all the days in the year, graduates on Saturday of our annual conference. So we're going to open Saturday morning. Cindy's going to speed us up to graduation. We're going to fly back tonight and be a part of it. But got to be at the grandson's graduation. So this morning we had the pleasure of recognizing Joyce as a major donor, and this noon we get the pleasure of recognizing Todd. So come up here, Mr. Wheeler. And this guy and I worked together, I don't know how many years, quite a few years. We were co-chairs of the Community Service Grant Committee. He's still doing it, they fired me. But he's just phenomenal to work with. And to be a major donor means $10,000 or more. Joyce, join that group. Todd is joining that group. And Todd, where did you put here's your pin. Is this your other? Todd brought these, RI sends them direct, so I'm gonna let you open that, young man. But Todd, your generosity, your commitment to Rotary Foundation is extremely appreciated and very valuable, and the foundation puts that money to extremely good use, 7 areas of focus, so thank you so much.
Thank you.
And just a quick plug, Norland asked Joyce and I to chair the annual fund for our district. So we're the incoming chairs for the annual fund for Rotary International. So we're really honored to be asked to do that. And we're assembling a committee right now, and we're looking for Rotarians that would like to get involved in that. So if you're interested, please see me. But it's been Joyce and I's honor to support our foundation. It is our foundation, and we see that those dollars working locally here as well as abroad. So yeah, it's just a truly an honor. So thank you.
If I can I have 2 minutes to do a quick spiel on the conference?
Sure.
May 1st, May 2nd, Coralville, Iowa City, Hyatt Regency. 50 years of being in banking and a president, I have worked with a lot of organizations to put things together. The crew at the Hyatt Regency just excels in customer service, so they're going to take really good care of us. But on Friday and Saturday, we have the past Rotary International President, Stephanie Urchak. She's going to talk about being a Rotarian, the benefits individually, locally, internationally. And then on Saturday night, it's going to be really interesting because she's going to share with us the exploits of traveling the world representing Rotary International. And then Tom Gump is our current membership chair for Rotary International. So on Friday, he'll talk about membership. But on Saturday, he already sent it to me because there's one thing we know, that there's one constant, and that constant is change. And if Rotary wants to move to the future, we need to change. And so he's going to share with us how Rotary might be looking into the future. And so we have the panel that Mr. Distinguished Past President there is going to be on with the AGs and the presidents. We have John Ockenfels and Peter T. Hahn on a flight around the world, and they've updated their presentation. It's really interesting. And that's probably my grandson. He's down in Houston. So this is how important you are. I gave up going to watch the Hawkeyes. I've had tickets since '78, but you guys are more important. So I paid for my daughter and grandson to go have fun, but I'm having more fun here with you guys. So, and then we also have a speaker and expert on mental wellness and small group sessions. We have Patrick Harrison, and Heidi Drager will be with him. She heads up our district, and she's on the zone for public image, how to take public image and build it within your club to improve your club and within the community to get the message out. And then we have one that's kind of near and dear to the heart, and there's a couple from Iowa City, and their son Mason passed away at 8 years old, and they were looking for a hospice house. And they're working, so they had to go to Minneapolis. They had to figure out a way. They want to be with their son before he dies. They also got to be at work to pay the bills. And so what they're doing is starting a hospice house. If you're familiar with Iowa City, it's where the ACT Center was up in the northeast corner. Our past district governor, Steve Dakin, lost a son, and he's on their board. And they're going to share their story with us, and it's heartwarming. And then we're going to raise a little money for them. And then Saturday night is the Kentucky Derby. And so we're going to have the Kentucky Derby on TV. Going to have a little dress up, best hat, best women's outfit, best men's outfit, and most unique couples outfit. So we're going to have some fun. Come join us. We would love to have you. And thank you for letting us be here.
Afraid is a sign that I've been at the podium too often recently. Josh decided I didn't need to be introduced. In case you don't know me, my name is Graham Gillette. Before I introduce our speaker, Caroline Myers, who's the Director of Education at Des Moines Performing Arts, I have a couple of confessions to make. First, while I appreciate the kind comments I've received about this year's programs, no Rotarian, especially a Rotarian of this club, does anything alone. Thank you to everyone who continues to help assemble such an outstanding slate of speakers. Second, I'll admit I took a little advantage as my role as program chair in scheduling today's presentation. Promoting the arts, especially arts education, is a not so secret mission of mine. I believe access to the arts opens eyes, expands the mind, and shapes the heart. It fosters empathy, and it changes lives. That belief began in my own childhood. I was fortunate to have access to music, performance, and creative expression, opportunities that helped me see the world differently and connect to it more deeply. But where truly centered that belief has been watching my daughter. A once shy child, Mary Catherine, MK, found her voice and her passion on the stage. Through theater, music, and dance, I watched her grow in confidence and purpose. And through her, I saw firsthand what the arts can do, not just for one child, but for an entire community. She is now an educator and a member of Caroline's team at DMPA. Having watched and learned from them, I wanted to share their work with you today. What they are doing in arts education here in Des Moines is not theoretical. It is immediate, tangible, and transformative. With that, let me introduce our speaker. Caroline Myers, a graduate of Luther College, is the Director of Education at Des Moines Performing Arts, where she leads programs that serve more than 60,000 students, teachers, and community members across Iowa each year. Since joining the organization in 2010, she has expanded school programs, developed curriculum and teacher training, and helped build one of the largest high school musical theater awards programs in the country, which I could talk about for a long time, and you're going to have an opportunity to see that program this spring. Go see it. It's a wonderful night. Her work ensures that more young people, regardless of background, have access to the kind of experiences that build confidence, spark creativity, and strengthen connection. So yes, I may have manipulated the schedule to bring her here today, but I think you'll agree with me that it was worth it. Please join me in welcoming Caroline Myers.
Graham, thank you for that wonderful introduction, and thank you for the invitation. Graham called me and said we'd like you to come and speak and share a little bit about what you have going on at Des Moines Performing Arts and Education. It was a great opportunity. We're so passionate about what we do at Des Moines Performing Arts, and we're thrilled to be able to share it here with you. And having MK on my team, along with another one of our program alumni, Maddie now, they're truly the secret sauce about the program that I'm really going to highlight today. So Des Moines Performing Arts, as I'm sure most people in this room are aware, is a nonprofit performing arts organization. We run the Civic Center and a few other venues in town. And in addition to it being core to our mission to bring world-class and meaningful entertainment from all over the world right here to share with people who live in our community and across Iowa, we're equally committed to being a supporter and an advocate for arts education. And that's everything from programs like our School Matinee Series, where we welcome about 40,000 students and teachers through our doors on field trip experiences, many of those students experiencing the wonder of live performing arts for the very first time. So if you've ever seen all the buses outside the Civic Center, that's what we're doing those days. To taking artists out into schools where we're removing barriers and meeting children where they are to give them opportunities to experience artists doing their work and sparking their own creativity. To our summer camp programming, which invites young people to come in and spend a week with us in the summer, putting their own creativity front and center and building those critical and creative thinking skills. Altogether, our programs that specifically work with school-aged children serve about 50,000 students and educators each year. We're so thankful for our partnership with schools. They're really the secret to being able to open up so much access. And the program I want to highlight today, when Graham called me, said, I think people would be really interested to learn more about all the ins and outs of the Iowa High School Musical Theater Awards. So out of curiosity, how many people are familiar with this program, at least at some level already? Fantastic. So today I'm hoping that you walk away with some new inspiration and perspective, some of the pieces that you may not know about. The showcase is at the end of the year, and that's the public piece. And if you're hearing about it for the first time, welcome. We're so very proud of what our schools and our students are accomplishing with our help being a support at their backs for the great work that they're doing. So when most people think about Des Moines Performing Arts, if they only know one thing they think about is for Broadway shows. We're the biggest presenter of touring Broadway in the state. In fact, we just had our season announcement for the new season yesterday, but Katie had me turn in my slides before that, so current season. But if they know us for one thing, they know us for Broadway. So we have a deep and abiding love for musical theater as an art form, and have lots of connections with the industry. And we also have this deep connection with Iowa schools. And so the Iowa High School Musical Theater Awards is really this beautiful blend of how do we use our championship, our advocacy for musical theater as an art form, and where that's showing up in our schools. And we know so many of the performers, the technicians that grace our stages, and so many of our audience members really got their start and their spark through their school setting, being involved in a high school drama program. So the Iowa High School Musical Theater Awards, there was already great work happening in school musicals across the state when we started this program. But I want to back up a little bit and just touch on some of the things about what is the role of the school musical in a school's ecosystem. So just like Susan shared some of those moments of inspiration and Graham touched on, we know that involvement in the arts fosters so many important and vital and transferable skills for young people. It's about creativity, it's finding your voice, it's critical thinking, it's problem solving. It is an incredibly brave and courageous thing for a young person to step out on stage and into the limelight and do so in front of their peers. And every single one of those experiences is really fostering and affirming for young people, the type of people that we want them to grow up to be. In addition, we oftentimes only think about the students on stage, but there's just as many students in programs that are really leaning in, that are serving in backstage roles. And really, I think the high school musical is one of the most inclusive activities in the ecosystem of school extracurriculars. There's so many entry points. You can be a young person that is being brave and stepping out on stage, but there's so many ways that a savvy educator and director can get students from all different areas of the school involved. So if you're the kid who loves to tinker, or you're in construction classes, join the set crew. If you're somebody who's showing up in the art room, scenic painting, the fashion kids can get involved in the costuming team. Our future business leaders are putting together marketing plans that blow me away to market and promote their shows, or project managers. Stage managers rule the world, right? So there's so many entry points, and so we can get all of these young people from all these different interest areas, skill sets, and get them working on one shared project together. And there's something truly magical about that, in the sense of belonging and a place that it gives young people, interacting with young people that maybe have completely different interest areas until they intersect in the theater. And it's a really, really beautiful thing that's already happening. Beyond the value for the students that are involved, we oftentimes think about theater and we think about New York and Broadway as being kind of the center of theater in this country. But our school drama programs are providing an immense service to their communities, and they're providing a vital resource in terms of the arts and cultural access in the communities that they exist in. So did you know that 4 times as many people will experience a live theatrical event produced by a school than will attend a Broadway show each year? They are gathering places for many communities, and I think especially in a state like us, where we're rural, for many people who come and see their son, their daughter, their grandchild, or their neighbor, going to the high school musical may be the only live performing arts event that they experience in the course of a year. And so we're so immensely proud of the work that our schools are producing and the role that they serve as gathering places and providing those vital experiences for people regardless of their zip code or their socioeconomic status. So we're gonna take just a brief pause from hearing from me, and I have a brief 2-minute video that's kind of an overview of the ins and outs of this program, and then we'll take a little bit more of a peek behind the curtain.
Across the state, high school students are bringing stories to life on stage, honing their craft, building teamwork, and creating something bigger than themselves. And behind the scenes, the Iowa High School Musical Theater Awards is there to support and celebrate their journey.
The growth of the program has been amazing to see, and it has positively impacted our drama program every year that we've participated.
It's encouraging students to have all sorts of experiences, not just for competition or for awards, but learning experiences.
Adjudication is the foundation of the program. Theater professionals travel to schools to see and review their full productions, giving directors and students valuable feedback on how to grow and improve their craft.
It shows that we all have talent and that people are watching us and looking at us to give us feedback on how we do and to make us improve.
I've seen them radically shift from I'm just here saying my lines and singing my songs to I'm out here and I am communicating this storyline.
Hands-on workshops throughout the year in both performance and technical areas take students learning even further.
we're given a chance to grow in a safe environment. The teacher in the class is super supportive, and all the students are really uplifting to everyone else. And it's not an opportunity that I think a lot of students will get the chance to participate in.
The season culminates in a night like no other, with a year-end showcase on the Civic Center stage, featuring collaborative medleys directed by guest artists, performances from outstanding productions, and a spotlight on the dedication of students both on and off the stage. It is an amazing night of community and celebration.
Our students love participating in the showcase. They have been able to meet other students from other schools and work with world-class directors and artists. A lot of them have been inspired to go on and continue performing at the collegiate level.
The value of this program is tremendous. It validates what the teachers are doing. It validates what the students are doing. It tells them that what they are doing is worthwhile.
So many people, if they are aware of this program, they know kind of the final culminating piece of it. But that's just one piece of really a holistic program that runs year-round that is really designed to be as big of a support to our school ecosystem and the arts ecosystem as possible. So when we started this program, it was really important to us to set some key guidelines and values that we created in partnership with several of our first educators that helped us design that. And it was first, yes, it's going to be a recognition platform, it's going to give awards and honors, but it's going to be an education program first and foremost. Education and student experience and their growth is at the center of everything we do and every decision that we make. We also know that schools have such a wide range of budget sizes and school sizes, and it was really important to us to set this up in a way that all schools could find success or some sort of value in the program. That it wasn't going to be about who has the biggest budget and who has the most resources, that you can still walk away with something that is going to be really, really meaningful to your students and your school community. And we wanted this to be an advocacy tool. So how can we use what we're doing and going in to help schools put visibility on their school drama programs? So many of the programs that we work with, especially when we started, were headed by directors of one, many of them without a theater education degree, and their programs are entirely self-funded through ticket sales or their own fundraising efforts. And so how can you get more community support to bring more students in and help elevate what they're doing? And part of that is celebrating the great work that's already there and capturing that attention and that momentum. So we're now in our 14th year of this program. In year one, we started very central Iowa based with just 9 schools that really got us started. We learned a lot along the way to keep tweaking and adding and responding to what schools were asking for. By year 5, we were statewide as we grew that geographic radius of eligibility. And this year in year 14, we have 117 schools all across the state that are participating. That'll represent 110 productions that will have teams of adjudicators go out and see them. And over 7,200 students that will be involved in those adjudicated productions. This is our map of our participation this year, and as you can see, we truly do have representation from every single corner of the state. We have urban schools, suburban schools, many, many rural schools, and I think that really is a testament to, as we've been responsive and designed this program, schools of all sizes and budget sizes we're living into that value, they're finding value in it. And our greatest and most exciting thing when registration is open is when we ask them where they heard about it or what motivated them to join. They say, it's the director down the road who told me about it and told me that we shouldn't be scared. This is something that's going to be great for our students and it's going to be great for our program long term. In terms of this reach, we are one of 58 regional programs nationwide that are affiliated with the National High School Musical Theater Awards, which is a program of the Broadway League in New York City. And of those 58 programs, there are only 4 in the country that serve over 100 schools each year. So we're in high regard in that way in terms of reach, and it's hugely supportive and indicative of the great community and financial support we have. This program comes at very little cost to schools. They pay a very nominal fee just as a little skin in the game for saying they're gonna go through that adjudication process, but the vast majority of it is underwritten by donors, grants, and our title sponsor. So, and this year we actually have the largest number of schools participating of any program in the country. So we go back and forth with our friends to the north in Minnesota from year to year, and that fluctuates somewhat because we have some schools that produce a musical every other year. So this year we're in our up year and we've got the most in the country. So it really keeps MK and Maddie on their toes over there making this all happen. So how does this all work? So adjudication, as that video states, really is the foundation of the program. And one of the things that's unique about this program is we're going to schools and we're saying we're going to support you with your full musical when you're producing it for your school community. So So our goal is for 3 adjudicators to attend each production. We work with about 70 adjudicators across the state who volunteer their time. They're theater educators, professionals who really want to give back in this way. And when they go to a school production, they come with their notebook and they sit in the dark and they frantically scribble as many notes, and they're watching as closely as they can, and they're looking at the school musical from every different angle. They're taking notes on each of their principal roles, on their ensemble, on their orchestra, all of their design elements, their direction. And they're really looking at it through the lens of how are we uplifting the great work that's already happening here, and how do we point them towards their next steps for growth. Each of those areas has a rubric that's education-based from proficiency all the way up to mastery, so we can really point out for schools where you can go in your development of your craft. And then those adjudicators write such heartfelt notes and comments to support schools to really shine a light on what they were seeing and why they assessed them the way that they did. And each of those schools ends up getting a 15 to 25 page packet of feedback on their production. It's an invaluable learning tool for the directors. They do reflection conversations with their students, they share with their administrators, and it's really a great way to say, here's where we have great strengths already, and as we go out for our next endeavor, what should we focus on next to take our program and our individual performances to that next level. High school musical season, I like to say, is no one season. It's not like basketball or football where it's this date to this date. Schools are really having their shows any time of the year that it fits in their calendar. When can they get access to the auditorium? How much rehearsal time do they need? So every season is High School Musical Theater Awards season for us. So we're sending adjudicators out on the road as early as October, which is about when the first shows in the year are up. November is our peak season, so we'll send out adjudicators to between 50 and 55 shows in the space of 11 days, all across the state. And then it kind of tapers off through the winter and then ramps back up through the spring. So we're sending people out on the road constantly. There's about 16 weekends of productions this year in that process of turning that feedback all around. Also throughout the year, we're very proud of our slate of learning opportunities. So we're saying, what are the skills that we're seeing come back through adjudication that are really focus areas or that directors are asking for? We're committed to providing opportunities in both performance-based areas and technical areas. And these are taught by anyone from a visiting Broadway cast member that we're doing a master class with while they're performing here in Des Moines to local theater professionals across the state. And we've really seen such great responses from educators and students alike of saying, okay, I've learned that this is what I need to work on. Now how do I do it? So come spend a day with us, morning with us, and we'll give you some new tools for your toolkit. Awards and honors are part of this, of course. That's part of the name. One of the keys to our success and the growth is we really from the beginning said we don't want this to be a competition. The arts are for everyone, and so we have what we call a celebratory model. So there's no one winner in any one category. It's not just the top score wins. It's any student or school in their category that achieves a certain level of excellence is recognized in that category. So you're competing not against one another, you're competing against the rubric, and how can you be the most compelling storyteller that you can be? And that has been so incredibly uplifting for students and schools participating. And it's really created this great momentum of partnership and support for one another. And we're seeing that network really strengthen in between schools as well. And getting those awards and honors is such an exciting moment for schools. They are leveraging these in such great ways. They have something to go back and put in their trophy case next to the athletic trophies, to line their hallways with, to say, we were here, we're a vital contributor, going to their school boards, putting information out about the honors that they received to their local community press. And it's such a great boost for fundraising, for support, for volunteers, and getting more students involved. And then, of course, the piece that most people, if they know one thing about, know, it's the year-end showcase. This truly is the most magical night of everything we do at Des Moines Performing Arts. We hope you'll be able to take it in at some point. So of those 7,200 students that we see in adjudicated productions, we'll find pathways and invite 650 to 700 of them on average to come in and share their work with the broader state and their peers from across the state. That takes everything from excerpts from the best of what adjudicators saw over the course of the year, special video presentations that students put together to show their behind the scenes work, and lots of other special magical moments, including our opening and finale numbers, which we put together from the ground up that every single school can send representatives to. And it's such a great learning opportunity for those students involved in that. It's truly a thrill. It's a sold out audience. So that for most students, this is the largest audience they'll ever be on stage in front of over 2,400 people in attendance. And that includes all of those students. So when they're not on stage, they're in the student section and they're watching and they're cheering and they're finding inspiration from what their peers are doing. And they take that inspiration back to their schools. And we hear time and again that that's really the biggest piece of motivation, in fact, that they see what young people their age are capable of, and they say, we can do that too. And so it's such a supportive moment. In addition to the 2,400 people in the audience and the visibility that brings, we're so thankful to our partnership Then we've cultivated with Iowa PBS, who live stream the event, do a special broadcast special. So in addition to those who were fortunate enough to be in the theater, our students' work is being seen far beyond the walls of their schools. They have this additional platform at the end of the year, and it can be seen by anybody with an internet access to tune in. And we see viewership from really all over the world. So eyes are on Iowa students and the great work that they're doing. It's one magical night, but it doesn't all come together in one. So really the month of May, the Civic Center is pretty dark from public events because we take it over, but we really want to give students the opportunity to have an experience that is worthy of their great skills and talents. So it's 11 days of rehearsals and experiential educational workshops all rolled into one. So we see each of those students anywhere from 2 to 4 times. They're crisscrossing across the state. Some of them we put up in our student housing program, and we just want them to have the most well-rounded experience as we help prepare them for the biggest performance of their high school career, and have them walk away with so many other great tangible takeaways, both from their skills as artists and just as people who are going to get out into the world, either to pursue a career in the arts or whatever pathway that they take. This year's showcase is Thursday, May 28th. I'd be remiss if I didn't say save the date. We hope you'll tune in. It's really, really a special evening, as we keep saying. So what are our outcomes? We're 14 years into this. What are we seeing? We are seeing elevated student skills. Every single year we're blown away by the increased talent that we're seeing in our guest Broadway professionals who work with students. They say, what is happening in the state of Iowa? And they say, they're telling their friends back in New York, these Iowa kids are coming for our jobs. You should be scared. We're hearing from directors all of these great anecdotes about how much more of a committed involvement they have from their students. Students are taking on more leadership roles. They're mentoring younger students who are coming up behind them in ways that directors weren't seeing previously. Our directors now have a phenomenal network and support system. Before, most of them were working in isolation in their schools, and now they have, in addition to our team, they have dozens of colleagues across the state that they feel comfortable getting on the phone with, sharing resources, trading costumes, tips, tricks, all of these new things. And it's really been remarkable to see this creative community flourish and taking down some of those walls and that isolation. And greater community support. They're reporting that their ticket sales are up. They're getting more yeses from local businesses when they go out with their fundraising asks to help them put on their next show. And we're seeing better quality productions that are serving communities all over Iowa. And you can have a great night out right in your own backyard. So with that, if you would like to engage more, a couple of things I'll say to you. Attend a high school musical. Metro schools love to do an April musical. There's so many opportunities coming up in the next month and a half to see a show locally. Attend the showcase or tune in on Iowa PBS. To get to all of those musicals all over the state, we have to have a wonderful and robust pool of adjudicators. So if you have a theater background or you know somebody who does, Maddie would love to talk to you and get a reference for anybody you think would be great at this and really love it. Donate to a school program or to Des Moines Performing Arts. This program is heavily, heavily subsidized. Schools pay hardly anything to participate. And regardless, whether this is a program that's lit a fire under you, please be an advocate for arts education in whatever way is meaningful for you. This is just one of many, many ways that the arts show up in our schools, and we are a champion for all of them, and we hope you will be with us as well. Thank you so much.
Do you have a mechanism to track these students when they go to universities, if they go and beyond, if they go on Broadway or movies or television or behind the scenes in production?
So do we have a mechanism to track our alumni? Yes and no. It's an area that we keep talking about that we need to make more robust. But we definitely have our tabs on a lot of our students that come through some of our more advanced tracks of the program. Our triple threat track takes 80 of the most advanced students that we see each year, and those are the students that we really have the biggest handle on where they go. We take 2 of them to New York to represent Iowa at nationals. So one of us on the team spends 10 days with them in New York and build like great connections with them and their families. And so we're always kind of like through the grapevine, what are we hearing? And keeping track of them that way. We also ask our directors to let us know where people are, but we definitely have students that are performing professionally in New York, regional theaters, cruise ships. We have some guest alumni coming back to be special presenters at the showcase this year, including one of our students who won a technical theater scholarship, who is absolutely killing it in the costume and fashion industry out in LA for film and television and band. So it's not a comprehensive way that we're tracking, but we definitely have all of these glimmers of successes that are coming back with students who are staying involved in the arts as their professional pathway. Thank you.
Caroline, Greg Edwards is kind of shy, so he asked me to ask you a question.
Great.
He's still interested in visitors and tourism, but you alluded to the fact that the Broadway series was announced this week. Can you share with us what those shows are?
Oh, you're gonna put me on the spot. So can I share what the Broadway series is for 26, 27?
Emily will help you.
Emily, you got it there. We're always living in like 2 or 3 seasons in our mind. So it's Just in Time, Buena Vista Social Club, maybe Happy Ending, which won the Tony Award for Best Musical. Phantom of the Opera is returning. Spamalot is returning. Hell's Kitchen, the Alicia Keys musical, like it's in there. And then some add-ons of Legally Blonde, Sound of Music, Mark Twain Tonight with Richard Thomas, One Night Only, and Mamma Mia. And Waitress. How can I forget Waitress? It's one of my favorites. So, yes. Thank you, Graham, for that opportunity to share. So we hope
Tickets on sale.
Tickets on sale, yes.
Out of all the different aspects of the programming that you do you see one area that has particularly changed or that students are gravitating towards? What I'm going to get at is, it seems like the technical nature of the productions and the ability from a technical standpoint are changing. And I'm just curious if you're seeing some changes in terms of involvement or engagement of students in certain areas now because there's more increase.
Absolutely, that's a great question. Are we seeing changes of involvement through this program of where students are really participating? I think, yes, absolutely. So when most people think of the musical, or when students think about, do you want to join the musical, they think about performing on stage. And we always had schools that were doing work with students in backstage roles, but that's really the area, especially over the course of the last 5 years, that we've seen the most dramatic evolution. Coming out of the pandemic and really kind of once we hit the 10-year mark of the program, we're like, we've got really good things going for performing students. Now let's figure out how do we elevate how we're honoring and celebrating students in backstage roles in a similar way. So we really added a great line of programming that Maddie oversees that's technical theater training opportunities, and we've really put students' technical work also at the center of Showcase. So now those students all, if they're honored in that way, produce a 1-minute video showcasing their work. All of those students get to come in for a special day of programming to showcase their work and show off to others, and we put several of those videos in the showcase. And really our behind-the-scenes students are some of the most inspiring. To be honored in that area, they have to put together a portfolio about their work, submit it to us, and then they do a 10-minute conversation with a panel of adjudicators. So they also have to articulate and talk about their creative decisions and problem solving. And to sit in on those Zoom interviews are some of my favorite things to do whenever we say we need somebody to cover for a few hours. And Maddie would be able to tell you more about the numbers, but I think we've seen at least double the number of submissions the last few years than we were seeing a few years ago. So we're now giving 90 to 100 awards in backstage areas for students submitting that are achieving that level of support. And we're hearing from directors that they've really solidified in many cases the professionalism of those crew involvements, where they'll tell us, for years I just had to beg kids at the last minute to come in and be on shift crew or be on design crew. And now they're casting that just as early, if not earlier, as when they're casting all of the performing roles, and students from many schools are now applying to be on those crews, and they're just taking it that much more seriously. So none of this is across the board. Every school is different, and we're really trying to design a program that we're going to say, take what we're giving you and really figure out what you want to do for your next steps. But our favorite 2 days of the year outside of the showcase are the 2 days we bring directors in, and they also just share all of these tips and tricks, and we say, borrow and steal from one another. And really the areas in backstage is where we're seeing really the most marked growth, both in skills and participation and putting their work forward for consideration, which is something we're very, very proud of. Blown us away. Yes?
As a former high school thespian.
Fantastic.
Shocking to all of you, I know. Number one, wonderful presentation. You are a wonderful presenter. Never notes.
Thank you.
It's an awesome job. You must have a little bit of a theatrical background. Number two, Mr. Chelsvig, who's an old buddy of mine. How do you like your new boss, and what can you tell us about
questions? The repeating for our viewers at home. So thank you for those kind words. It's easy to talk about the things we're so passionate about and do every single day. It's more just how do I get it down to the right amount of time. We're so thankful for Jeff Chelsvig's leadership, and he was such a key advocate for us at every single stage, and said if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right, and really helped us get our values aligned and say we're going to raise the right resources we need to do this well. So we're wishing Jeff well, and he's still cheering us on with this program. He was actually the first one to tell me you're the largest in the country this year because he's still serving on the advisory board for the National High School Musical Theater Awards this year. Huge kudos and thanks to Jeff for his leadership all those years. We welcome Monica Holt as our new CEO in January, and she has been such a phenomenal addition to the team already. We're just so impressed by her level of care and listening. She's been doing so many conversations with our staff, with community leaders, and so many other aspects of our community, getting to know Des Moines, getting to know Des Moines Performing Arts, and getting to know the arts and culture scene here, and is very much of the mindset that what we're doing at Des Moines Performing Arts is working well. She's not coming in to fix anything, but she's here for an opportunity to elevate and help us figure out what new ways and new pathways can we continue to grow on that legacy, to continue to serve our community in even more impactful ways. So I'm sure you will have the chance to meet her at some point, and she'll be delighted to meet you and tell you more about her background and what she's thinking about as she gets to know us.
Does she claim that she's coming from the Trump Kennedy Center?
You will have to ask her about her experience of her career at the Kennedy Center and what that's been like since then. But we're very fortunate that some unfortunate national events has brought her to our community. So it's a great boon to Des Moines.
Great. So I haven't taken my meds yet today.
Okay, I think we have time for one more.
We're familiar with Sigourney and Gardavillo and what's here at Strawberry Point, and we're also familiar with Waukee and Valley and Roosevelt and the tremendous resources that they have in those schools. Obviously, that's not the same level at smaller schools. So how do you develop this system that you were talking about that isn't really a one-to-one comparison, but you still manage to get some lack of favoritism, I guess,
Yeah.
for the bigger schools?
So that was a great question. So the question is acknowledging that schools of different sizes, different community types have very different resources. So how do we go about making sure that there's not favoritism and bias? And it really comes down to those education-based rubrics. That it is a reflection, and all of those things are about storytelling, and you can talk to us afterwards. We can send you a copy of them if you'd like, but it's not about how much you have on your stage, it's about how you use what you do have. And yes, the schools that are larger and that have more resources, they're probably putting more energy, or they might have more staff members that are coaching students in more of those areas, so they might see more honors come through in more areas. But our schools that are smaller, we say focus on what you can focus on within your resources, and they see results, and they see excellence, and they see honors in those areas where they have made a commitment saying this is what we want to focus on. So it's maybe not apples to apples if you're doing it by count, but our directors know, and through very thoughtful conversations with adjudicators and training, that we are not being biased towards who has the flashiest equipment. It's how were they as authentic storytellers and using what they have, and really working with directors and having those conversations about here's how you talk about this with your students, so that they see the efforts in their focus areas and where that comes back in returns, that adjudicators see that as well. But it is tricky, for sure. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Caroline, for joining us today and sharing your passion for the arts and education. As a dance dad, I can certainly attest to the confidence that performing definitely brings to young people. So it's great for what you and your team are bringing to Iowa, for sure. We truly appreciate the incredible work that you and your staff are doing to really inspire our community. So thank you very much. Upcoming meetings, I should say. April 2nd, Jeff Condon with Sleepy Hollow Sports Park. April 9th, we have our Educators Awards, so another great program honoring 5 educators from Des Moines Public Schools. And then April 16th, we have Joe Stevens from Joppa. So it'll be great upcoming meetings. Remember, Kitty always made me note this, and I bolded it and highlighted it. So please remember to RSVP for yourself and guests by 9 o'clock on Wednesdays. Upcoming fellowship opportunities. We've got Top Golf next Thursday for the Golf Fellowship. There's still open spots available, so 4 to 6, April 2nd, $25 per golfer. So if you're interested in that, email Austin Goodnight. If you don't have the email that he sent out, you can certainly just let Kitty know and she'll find us and make sure you get signed up. April 7th is Spring Fling at World Food Prize, so RSVPs are closed. Hopefully those that can make it, we'll see you that night. There's a couple extra spots we ordered heavy, so if you're still interested, let Kitty know and we'll make sure to get you signed up. And then April 25th, Randy has a Wheels announcement that will be coming out. It's on a Saturday, family-friendly Wheels event that he is championing. Oh, and May 19th, Marnie's here, so man, sorry Marnie. May 19th is our new member social, so encourage everybody to attend that event, new members, and bring in prospective members as well, so that they can get to meet us and see what we're all about and hopefully grow our club. So May 19th at Jasper Winery, hope everyone can make that. Upcoming fuel, Cinco de Mayo, so Tuesday, May 5th, Jackie Norris, coffee, tequila, margaritas, whatever you want to bring that day, but it'll be a great day, hosted by Jackie Norris, so we're happy to continue the Fuel Fellowship. Thank you for being with us today, great meeting. Thank you, Caroline, for you and your team and presenting to us today. Thank you for our guests. Cindy, I missed you, but certainly we know the better half of all of the men in the room. Sorry, all the men in the room, but Cindy as well. Thank you for tagging along and keeping Norland straight. So, and I'd be amiss, Mr. Saltzgaber, if I didn't say go Cyclones before we adjourn the meeting.